Hello, everyone. It's been a while, but I'm back. And one reason that it's been a while is I've wanted to take some time to talk about this topic of the Savannah Bananas today for our Take One episode. For people who don't know, the Savannah Bananas started out as a wooden bat collegiate summer league team. But then they grew to where they started doing trick plays during games and they started doing videos for social media that went viral. And then quickly grew out of being a summer league team to being an all-encompassing like show team that people can go and they would have a really good time at their events. And if you want more information to keep me from talking on and on about this, about the background of the Savannah Bananas, ESPN Plus, Disney Plus actually has Banana Land, the documentary or the docu-series about the Savannah Bananas. And so that's really, really interesting to watch. I invite everybody, or I encourage everybody to watch that to get a little bit more background on what they're doing. But the Savannah Bananas, another reason I wanted to wait is this past weekend I was actually able to go to Nashville to watch the Savannah Bananas play the Party Animals in Bananaball. They played at Nissan Stadium, which is where the Tennessee Titans play. They sold out the stadium, 70,000 seats. They've sold out Clemson University Stadium, Clemson Memorial Stadium. That's 80,000 seats. They sold out other NFL stadiums. Earlier this year, they played at Raymond James Stadiums, where the Tampa Bay Buccaneers play. They are selling out NFL stadiums. They're selling out Major League Baseball stadiums. Um, their start from playing in historic Grayson Stadium, which seated about 2,500 people, or up to 3,000 people, I think, to where they are now. Their growth is just immense, and there's it's a really really fun story. Again, I encourage everybody to watch Banana Land, the docuseries. It's really really good for a lot of the background information. However, why am I talking about it on the being a fan of Disney or on a podcast, being a fan of Disney, the podcast? Because the Savannah Bananas, when they started Banana Ball, they created this show for people that was engaging to people. And they started out with one team, the Savannah Bananas. They would go around and they would play different teams, but then they founded the Party Animals, which you see on my hat and behind me if you're watching. Um, and these two teams, they would during the games like have there's a person on stilts that would sometimes come in and bat and sometimes pitch, and they're doing the backflips in the outfield. People might have heard of Robert Anthony Cruz or Coach Rack on social media. He plays for the Savannah Bananas. There are so many great characters that play for the Savannah Bananas and for the Party Animals, that the games are really really fun. They last under 2 hours, or I should say, they don't start an inning after 2 hours has elapsed. So if the ninth inning is going and 2 hours has elapsed, they can continue playing, but they don't start an inning after 2 hours. Their batters don't get out of the batter's box. Their pitchers are throwing about every 2 or 3 seconds a pitch. They have a stat on their pitchers in minutes per inning, or so that's an important stat for them because between innings they're doing different shows and they're doing different contests and they're doing walk-up songs and different skits at these games. And so being able to be fun and engaging with people is what they have built their brand on and what they continue to build their brand on. Last year, they introduced the Firefighters, which if you're watching, you can see above my head their logo. And in about 2 or 3 weeks here, they're going to introduce the Texas Tailgaters, which is the fourth team of Banana Ball. In 2026, next season, they are actually launching the Banana Ball Championship League, where they're going to introduce two new teams this coming October, and those six teams will then actually play in a Banana Ball Championship League schedule. So far, it's been World Tours, Savannah Bananas World Tours, and Party Animals World Tours, where they'll go around and they'll play in these different places, similar to what the Harlem Globetrotters do. However, the Savannah Bananas and Party Animals, these are games that they're not scripted, or I should say the ending isn't scripted. The Party Animals actually, the last 2 or 3 years have been more successful than the Savannah Bananas in gameplay. And so this Banana Ball Championship League will feature six teams that they're all doing the same things, the fun, engaging games. Their motto is fans first. Try to get people engaged with this product. So again, why talk about it on Being a Fan of Disney, the podcast? Because last year, or ever since I started paying attention to the Savannah Bananas, um, I thought what a great fit this would be for the Walt Disney Company. And even I reached out and tried to set up an interview with the Savannah Bananas, and they were happy to talk to me early on, but I couldn't set up the interview for time reasons, and so. Um, I've always thought what a great way to engage with people, and this is very much in the vein of what the Walt Disney Company does. So much so that the owners of the Savannah Bananas are Jesse Cole and his wife Emily Cole. Jesse Cole has said two of his strongest influencers are Walt Disney and P.T. Barnum. The shows that they put on are very, very engaging for young fans, for old fans, for the family environment. And so I've often thought this is a great way for the Walt Disney Company to get in on live sports. And so what I think is going to happen with the Banana Ball Championship League, I could see that being on ESPN, ESPN Plus, Disney Plus. Last year during the 2024 season, I think they aired four games on ESPN Plus and Disney Plus. This year, they announced a 10 game package to air Banana Ball games on Disney Plus, ESPN Plus, and ESPN2. I think next year, the Banana Ball Championship League will be on the ESPN flagship service. A few episodes ago, I talked about how ESPN is launching ESPN flagship, and because they're doing that, they're looking for a lot more content. Even they're trying to work with NFL media, they're trying to work with Major League Baseball to work out different contracts to get more content on ESPN flagship. They're working with some of the local providers like FanDuel Sports Network, who runs a lot of the regional sports networks, what used to be called regional sports networks, to add content onto this flagship service. I could see in the future this being something that Banana Ball Championship League being on the ESPN flagship service and being on Disney Plus. I'll even go so far as to say I could see the Walt Disney Company owning a portion of Banana Ball. This being one of their major acquisitions that they're going to make. Because what the bananas are building is has become massive and is just continues to they continue to grow, they continue to try to learn, and one thing that makes this relationship so advantageous for the Walt Disney Company is when we talk about media rights and how much media rights cost to show league content. They cost a lot of money, and then you don't own that content. So when ESPN shows an NFL game, they don't own that NFL content. NFL media owns the content. Now, if Disney through ESPN works out a deal with NFL media, one thing that analysts believe is maybe they will own some of that content that they can feature on ESPN standalone or ESPN flagship at other times. But you don't own the content that you show on your channels. If the Walt Disney Company actually has ownership in Banana Ball, then there's more of a possibility that they would own that content and be able to show that content on ESPN Plus and Disney Plus. Right now, if you look on ESPN Plus and Disney Plus, I've mentioned Banana Ball. Go watch it if you haven't. You can watch that. You can also watch the Banana Ball game that was played at Clemson on April 26th and Nashville that was played this weekend in Nashville, Tennessee. And so I think this is a great relationship. I could see the Walt Disney Company owning a portion of the Savannah Bananas or of Banana Ball and the Banana Ball Championship League, so that they would have the ability to show this more family-friendly content on Disney Plus and have it on their ESPN flagship service. And it's, everything is people don't talk about different things like this until everything's done. But the Savannah Bananas have said there's more that's going to happen between them and ESPN. That's what I think is going to happen between ESPN and I. excuse me, I hope it does because I think it is a really, really fun environment. Going to a banana ball show is amazing. It's a really, really fun atmosphere. It's a really, really fun family activity. I think having it on ESPN flagship and Disney Plus is going to be a really, really good relationship, and a great way for the company to further engage with consumers on their streaming platforms. And so that's all I have for today. Uh, Again, if you haven't watched Banana Ball, watch it to understand some of the background behind the Savannah Bananas, and uh, it's really, really interesting to watch what is happening and the future of the Savannah Bananas, the Party Animals, the Texas Tailgaters, the Firefighters, the next two teams that they announce, and the Banana Ball Championship League, and see how all that's going to fit in with the Walt Disney Company. So, thanks a lot, everybody. Have a great day.